Good afternoon. Thank you for joining Rittenhouse today for our spring editorial update. This is a Rittenhouse online open course. My name is Nicole Gallo. I'm the Executive Director of Sales and Marketing for Rittenhouse, and I'm joined today by Laura Duray, who is our Marketing and Promotions Manager. This presentation is a continuing education series presentation from Rittenhouse. This session will be taped and made available on our YouTube page, so you can find it later if you'd like to go back and reference anything. The audio is muted for participants. We will have Q&A at the end of the session, so if you have any questions, you can use your toolbar. Just hit that question and type in your question, and we'll be happy to address all of those questions at the end of the session. Okay, so as a quick overview of our objectives today, we're going to just do a quick overview of how you access these resources, print and digital, from Rittenhouse. We're going to review a few trends in health sciences. I'm going to go through some key front lists from our publishing partners. All of the products that I'm going to be talking about are available in ebook and print books through Rittenhouse. And the exciting part, we're going to talk about some opportunities to save at the end of the webinar. So hang tight. Okay, ordering from Rittenhouse. We have two websites. So our print website, where you can access all of the print books we have for sale, is Rittenhouse.com. Once you log in, which I highly recommend that you do, you'll be able to see your own pricing and discount on every title that we have available. You can also see your account information. You can do a lot of great customer service things once you're logged in. You can see your order history. You can look at a back order history. There are a lot of nice tools on the website. And as an added bonus, if you order electronically through Rittenhouse.com, you receive an extra 1% discount on everything that you order. So there's definitely an advantage to using our website, Rittenhouse.com, for your print purchases. There's a quick look at our print site, Rittenhouse.com. The customer login is right up at the top of the right-hand corner. So when you hit the site, log in, and then you'll be able to access all of our print products. Our ebook website, the r2library.com, you use your Rittenhouse account number to log in there or to start a trial. It's a web-based ebook database specialized in health sciences. We have a wide range of publisher content all on one platform. About 75 of the leading STM publishers, and there are more than 5,000 active ebooks available for purchase on the R2 Digital Library. So there's R2 Library. That's what that looks like. And again, with your login, that will grant you administrative access once you are active on the platform. Okay, so a little bit about purchasing on the R2 Library before I get into the front list. We have really two different ways to order and access product ebooks on the R2 Digital Library. Firm ordering, much like you do in print, you purchase your individual resources, or you can purchase by collections. And you select only what is appropriate for your local needs. You only pay once on the R2 Digital Library, and you have perpetual access to the ebooks. Each ebook is priced individually. You always have access to content that you've purchased on the R2 Digital Library as long as you're active on the platform. So what is out of print in the print world is called archived on the R2 Digital Library. And you always retain access to those products that you have purchased on the R2 Digital Library. We also have a patron-driven acquisition model, and this model enables you to create a collection from single titles or special collections, any grouping of content that makes sense for your collection development needs, and you make those available to your patrons with no initial cost. So then your patrons have 3 session level accesses to that content, and once it's used 3 times in 3 different sessions, it moves to a shopping cart, and then you're notified that you can review that shopping cart and decide whether or not you'd like to purchase. So there is no automatic purchase with the PDA on R2, and that's really been popular with a lot of our customers. And there is a PDA wizard available for auto replenishment. So you can put your entire collection on auto replenishment, and new editions will automatically be added to your PDA collections. So 2 different ways to access ebooks on the R2 library. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little hot tip here. The value of the entire active collection on the R2 Digital Library is more than $2 million. So that is pretty significant, and you can provide access to that entire collection with no initial charge if you use the PDA program. You only pay for what is used and based on your needs. So you have complete control, but yet you can open up all of this content at no initial cost. So I broke it down a little bit here. We have 3,200 active medical ebooks, 900 in nursing, and a little more than 500 in allied health. And we have other areas too, such as dentistry and vet medicine. But you can see we have really robust collections, and the value there is pretty significant that you can open up at no additional or initial, cost. And just a quick note with the R2 Digital Library, everything available for PDA or purchase on R2 is a current edition. So we do not have old content available for sale or for PDA. So you can rest assured when you're working with R2 that you're getting the best and the most recent content available. Okay, so on with the show. All of the resources presented are available for purchase as an ebook on the R2 Digital Library or as a print book on Rittenhouse.com. And at the end of the presentation, I'm going to talk about a special offer that we have going on. So I'm going to go through titles. I have them grouped by specialty, and I'm going to start with some allied health. We have the latest edition of the CPT from the American Medical Association. So if you have a program or if you are in a setting where your professionals need to do coding, this is the book for you. It's an annual edition, so it comes out every year, and it really is a gold standard with regards to coding for any healthcare professional that needs to correctly report and bill for medical procedures. So that is released and available for purchase. Another allied health book here in occupational therapy. So occupational therapy and mental health is from F.A. Davis. It's a 2nd edition, and it really is a study of occupational therapy, emphasizing the experience of mental illness and recovery. So it's a text that will guide the user through an evidence-based approach to helping clients with mental health disorders on their recovery journey and being able to participate in meaningful occupations in their everyday life. So this is a great book from F.A. Davis. If you're servicing occupational therapists or you have a program, this is definitely one that you'd want to add. Okay, another allied health title, this one in physical therapy, Physical Rehabilitation, and this also comes from F.A. Davis, 2019 publication date. This is the 7th edition. So if you're servicing a physical therapy program or physical therapist, you're probably familiar with this edition. If it's new edition, it's been around for a while. And it really is everything you need to know about rehabilitation management for adult patients. So it takes the surgical, medical, and therapeutic interventions, and it talks about how you can appropriately evaluate those procedures and have a comprehensive and implemented treatment plan. So there's a great one for physical therapy. Okay, I have a trend alert here. Hashtag Get PT First. It's a grassroots initiative that's really picking up steam of late. There's been a lot of articles published, and it really is the mission of this grassroots movement is to inspire physical therapy professionals to share their success stories and motivate the public to consider physical therapy before they're turning to more invasive treatments. So along with this movement, you may notice there are some additions. More and more physical therapy programs are cropping up across the nation. So just keep your eyes out for that. If you might have a program being added on your campus or a new program, you know, there's a lot of momentum here with physical therapy. It is one of the fastest growing allied health professions. Okay, another allied health book, Radiologic Technology. This is from Elsevier, also a 2019 edition, just published. It is the 14th edition. So this one is really well known in the radiography circles, and it really is a bulleted step-by-step explanation of how to position the patient. And it gives you projections, and it really demonstrates visually how to position your patient when you're getting ready to take those radiographs. So this is a must-have if you're servicing radiologic technology or radiologic technologists. So this is available now in the 14th edition. Okay, a research book from Jones and Bartlett. This is a 2020 publication date, Introduction to Research and Medical Literature for Health Professionals. And this one is designed to really help with understanding the research process, interpreting data, comprehending results, incorporating findings. It also will assist in choosing a research project, which is really important, developing research process design, and gathering information. So it's a really good guide. It's very popular. It's in its 5th edition, now available. Okay, health administration. Introduction to Healthcare Quality Management. This is from the Health Administration Press. It's a 3rd edition, and it really is a how-to book. It explains the basic principles and techniques for quality management in healthcare. And it's written for students and professionals who really have little or no clinical experience. It focuses primarily on measuring and improving the operational and service aspects of healthcare delivery. So there are case studies in this book. It gives real-world examples, and it really helps that student use an applied learning approach. So this is a must-have, again, in its 3rd edition. Another health admin book, Health Insurance and Managed Care. Fun topic, but it really is addressing what they are and how they work. This is another Jones and Bartlett publication. 5th edition, 2020 publication date, so it's hot off the presses. And it really is an introduction to the workings of health insurance and managed care in the American healthcare system. So it's written clearly so that if you have no idea about these things, you're able to understand them. And it gives a historical overview of managed care, and then it walks the reader through the structures, concepts, and practice of health insurance and the managed care industry. So now available in the 5th edition. Okay, a hot tip. Rittenhouse has curated a special collection of health administration essentials. So we have a list of 40 ebooks, and they're also available in print. That is great for hospital collections and or if you're servicing a health policy curricula. It features must-have resources from some of the best publishers publishing in health administration. So Jones and Bartlett, Sigma Theta Tau International, Joint Commission Resources, Wiley, Green Branch, HC Pro, Elsevier, I could go on and on. So we have got a great collection here, and you can take a look at that on R2. Just in one click, you can see all of the books. And the second click, you could add them all to a PDA collection. So I encourage you to take a look at that. Okay, one more in health administration, Essentials of Health Policy and Law. This is from Jones and Bartlett. Publication date is 2020. It's a 4th edition. And it really does provide students of public health, medical, nursing, public policy, health administration, an introduction to issues in U.S. health policy and law. So as it states, it just lays it out and helps that student understand the ways in which health policies and laws are formulated, implemented, and applied. So that's a good one to have if you are servicing those students. Okay, I'm going to move on to a few books in medicine. The first one here is Pocket Guide to Clinical Microbiology from ASM Press. It's a 4th edition, and it's perfect for anyone who works in a clinical laboratory. It's a pocket guide, so it helps you identify most organisms that you will encounter. Sounds fun, doesn't it? It really, though, is a valuable quick reference for anyone who is in that clinical microbiology setting. And it's really compact, so a good one to have. Good information. Trend alert here, physician assistant. So we're talking about medical titles. Physician assistants are widely viewed as part of the solution to our ongoing physician shortage. If you weren't aware, that by 2030, the physician shortage is expected to grow to as many as 120,000 doctors, according to the Association of American Medical Colleges. So PAs are growing. There are more programs being added across the nation, and they really are looking toward PAs to solve part of this gap with the shortage of physicians. So wanted to point out that R2 Digital Library has 12 PA-specific ebooks on the platform. So you just log in, look for physician assistant, and they'll all be there. And if you're not aware, a lot of the physician assistant programs also use a lot of the medical resources that I'm talking about today. So we really do have a nice collection for physician assistants in print and digital. There we go. Okay, a book in pediatrics from the American Academy of Pediatrics, Neonatal Care. It's new from the Committee on Fetus and Newborns, and it gives you a single place to look for the most recent recommendations on quality care for pregnant women and newborn infants. So it's a must-have guide. It features more than 40 policy statements from the AAP, and it's a clinical practice guideline, and it covers the full spectrum of care from delivery to discharge. So it's a must-have if you are a hospital. It's a must-have if you are servicing medical students, nurses. It really is a popular resource. A book in pediatrics, the 2019 Nelson's Pediatric Antimicrobial Therapy. It's a 25th edition from the American Academy of Pediatrics, just released. And it's just as it sounds. It's a resource on pediatric antimicrobial therapy, and it provides instant access to reliable, up-to-the-minute recommendations for treatment of all infectious diseases in children. So you can diagnose with the book I just presented, and then you'll know how to give a recommendation for treatment with this one. So for each disease, the authors provide commentary to help healthcare providers select the best of all choices. So must have, 25th edition, hot off the presses. Okay, another classic. The Tarascon Pocket Pharmacopoeia is now available in its 33rd edition from Jones & Bartlett, 2019 publication date. It's purple this year. If you're buying the print book, it's available also on R2, and it really is one of the most popular and trusted sources for portable drug information. So students, prescribers, physicians, pharmacists, nurses, physician assistants, etc., everybody uses this book. So it's a must-have. Make sure you have it in your collection. Okay, pharmacy book here. Concepts in Clinical Pharmacokinetics, and that's from the American Society of Health System Pharmacists. We just released it on R2 in February. It's a 7th edition, so it's really well known in the pharmacy circles, and it really does simplify a complex subject, and it reflects current practices and the latest information and insights on concepts through extensive use of correlates, figures, and it also has review questions. So it's a must-have if you have a pharmacy program. Okay, a couple of books I'm going to talk about in psychiatry. The first one, it's been in the news a lot lately, Physician Suicide, Cases and Commentaries. And this comes from the American Psychiatric Association of Publishing, 2019 publication date. It's a first edition. And it's really case studies. So it's employing a series of realistic, although they're fictional cases, and it explores the culture of medical training and the practice and how it interacts with the stress and the illness that can impact physicians over the course of their professional lives. So if you are in a hospital setting or if you have a medical school, medical student program, it definitely is a must-have. Okay, if I have any VAs on the line, this one's for you. Treating PTSD in military personnel. a clinical handbook. It's the second edition of this book from Guilford Press, just published in 2019. And it really is a state of the science guide to assessing and treating post-traumatic stress disorder. It's for active duty service members and veterans, and it's 65% revised in this new edition. So it's a must-have if you have a need for that. Okay, so now I'm going to move into some nursing. We've got some really heavy hitters that have just published that we've added to our collections. If you're servicing nursing, clinical nurses, or nursing school, you're going to want to pay attention. We have great books here to talk about. So the first is the 2019-2020 Peri-Anesthesia Nursing Standards. It's the Practice Recommendations and Interpretive Statements. So the ASPAN book is really well known if you're servicing that market, and it really does provide a framework for expanding the scope of care in a diverse patient population across all settings. The standards are reviewed and updated every 2 years. So there's a team of clinical practice experts that are going through this and revising. So this is the new edition. It's now available. If you haven't added it to your collection, please do. Okay, so if you are servicing a nursing population, whether it's academic or clinical, the R2 Digital Library has collections to meet your needs. So, I said earlier we have 900 nursing ebooks available and thousands of print books, but we've put together some collections that might make sense and make it a little easier for you to get the latest and greatest in your area. So we have a unique combination, as you've been seeing, of commercial, association, and scholarly publishers, and we do have one of the largest ebook collections of nursing available. So we've curated some collections, nursing must-haves, nursing standards and guidelines, AJN books of the year, nursing instruction essentials, nursing essentials, and undergraduate essentials. So depending if you're academic or in a hospital setting, we have a good collection for you. So you can take a look at those and see the complete list on R2. Okay, so we have a good book here in education, Certified Nurse Educator, which is CNE. It's the review manual. So anyone who is sitting for the CNE needs this book. It's from Springer Publishing Company, 3rd edition. And it really is for nurse educators who are getting ready to take that exam. And it really is the leader. It's a concise review book that features a systematic approach to exam prep. So it's updated in this edition and includes in-depth focus on distance learning models along with new content on global initiatives. So there are a lot of questions and answers in this book. There's 100 new questions, more than 250 total. So it's a must-have for certified nurse educators. Okay, so a little bit about nursing. In 2017, nursing schools turned away more than 56,000 qualified applicants. So if you're in an academic setting, you may be familiar with how many students are applying to go into nursing school and how many spaces there are. So there's, much like the physician shortage, there's a nursing shortage afoot. And if we go back 10 years or so, each year, schools have rejected more than 30,000 applicants. So, we're seeing some new programs crop up, a lot of trends with distance learning and online learning and accelerated learning. So just know what you have on campus and what you're servicing. R2 is great for all of those programs. And you can read more about this if you want at the American Association of Colleges of Nursing, they have a lot of trends going on in the nursing environment. So just a little FYI. Okay, so a nursing emergency book, Disaster Nursing and Emergency Preparedness. It's from Springer Publishing, 4th edition, and it really is featuring the most current, valid, and reliable evidence-based content that's available. This is a 3-time AJN Book of the Year winner, so it really is a good book. I found it really interesting when I was putting this slide together. Nurses represent about 70% or more of the first responders to a disaster scene. So that's pretty significant. I was surprised by that number. So it's an important book to have just so that the nurses are prepared and ready for action should a disaster arise. Okay, really well-known 14th edition of Mosbys Diagnostic and Laboratory Test Reference, just published from Elsevier. A must-have. It really is a must-have resource if you're doing any sort of lab tests. So any of your nursing students, any of your nurses. And this book is known for its accuracy, currency, and has a clear, easy-to-use format. It's got test entries that are arranged alphabetically, and it does reflect the latest in the diagnostic and lab testing research. So 15 new tests have been added in this new edition. And again, if you have nurses in this setting, you definitely want to have this, or students who are studying. Okay, an oncology book from the Oncology Nursing Society, brand new in 2019. Chemotherapy and immunotherapy guidelines and recommendations for practice. So another one of those practice and guidelines books. It's a must-have for any oncology nursing. It's been completely revised and updated, and it has expanded the foundational information that the nurses rely on, including the latest advances related to nursing care of patients. And it features 26 chapters looking across multiple categories of cancer care. So you definitely want to have that one if you are either in a hospital setting or are working with oncology nurses. Okay, another heavy hitter from the Association of Perioperative Registered Nurses, AORN, the 2019 Guidelines for Perioperative Practice. So this is an annual edition. It's hot off the presses. So if you typically buy this every year, now's the time. We have it in print and digital, and it provides evidence-based guidelines for those perioperative professionals so that they're promoting safety and the optimal outcomes for patients. So definitely a must-have. Okay, pharmacology book, Pharmacology for Nurses. This is from Jones and Bartlett. It's a 2020 publication date. It's a second edition. And essentially, it teaches those undergraduate nursing students the basic concepts of pharmacology. So the text focuses on the critical need to know information. So if you have nursing students, this is a must-have. Public and community health. So this book is called Caring for the Vulnerable, and it's from Jones and Bartlett, another 2020 edition. It's 5th edition. So it's been newly revised, and it's hot off the presses, another one. And it really focuses on vulnerable populations and how nurses can care for them, develop programs for them, and conduct research and influence health policy. So it's wide-ranging in its topics, and if you have nursing, public, and community health, it's a must-have. Another one in public and community health, and this is a really well-known book from F.A. Davis, Journey Across the Lifespan, just published in 2019. It's the new edition, 6th edition, and it really does take that nursing student on a journey through the life cycle. So it's what nurses need to effectively care for any patient at any stage in life. So it addresses today's healthcare climate. Nursing research. This is a great one, Writing for Publication in Nursing. We always, it's a brand new edition from Springer Publishing Company. We sell a lot of these just out in 2019. It's the 4th edition. So if you have anyone who is writing, whether it's an evidence-based research paper, journal article, clinical project findings, innovations, etc., this is the book that will guide them. It helps with writing systematic, integrative, and literature reviews, and how to include evidence in your writing. So it's a must-have for anyone who is servicing that market. Okay, so I'm going to move on to pharmacy now, and I think I have a couple books on opioids. So this one is Demystifying Opioid Conversion Calculations. New book in 2018. It is the 2nd edition. And it was a revision, and it was an update of this book. It was pretty popular in its 1st edition from the American Society of Health System Pharmacists. And it covers a spectrum of opioids used in the management of patients with moderate to severe pain, and it includes a new chapter on drug shortages. So if you were familiar with the first edition, you now have the second edition available. Time for a trend alert. The Addiction Medicine Foundation hosted a congressional briefing in September of 2017 to inform lawmakers and staff about the newly recognized medical field of addiction medicine. So this will add qualified, credentialed expert positions to the interdisciplinary workforce, and it will, largely to focus on America's unhealthy and deadly substance use problem. So if you're not aware, if you're in a hospital setting, you probably are. Most practices now are implementing addiction medicine into their practices. Okay, another one, Pharmacist's Guide to Opioid Use Disorders. This is from the American Society of Health System Pharmacists. It's a first edition, but it really is addressing the fact that pharmacists and other healthcare practitioners are on the front lines in the fight against opioid use disorders. They're uniquely qualified to prevent and manage misuse of drugs, but knowing where and how to start isn't always obvious. So this book walks them through that. And it really is addressing, all aspects of this epidemic, starting with the discussion of the neuroscience of substance use disorders. So another one there. It's a good time for me to mention that R2 Library has access to 24 OER ebooks. That's right, unlimited access to free open resources. So I urge you, if you're on the R2 Library and you haven't taken a look, that you take a look at those. There's no strings attached. They're free. They're in a collection called Free. And I mention it now because one of the books is on a treatment improvement protocol, medications for opioid use disorders. And we also have the new edition of the Merck Manual, Diagnosis and Therapy in that free collection. So definitely worth taking a look at our free ebooks and adding them. Okay, so I went through a lot of front list there. Big announcement. Right now, every ebook presented on the webinar is on sale. So we're running a quick flash sale today and tomorrow. You'll receive a deep 22% discount on those ebooks on the R2 Library. So I took a screenshot. It's called Spring 2019 Content Update. And so you can see the books listed there. And the discount is reflected as well. So when you add it to your shopping cart, it'll automatically be applied. Okay. If you have any questions, use your toolbar. We will have some additional flash sales going on over the next couple of weeks. And I would be remiss, and Laura would never forgive me if I didn't mention our blog. We constantly have great information on our blog. So if you're not following us, Rittenhouse Writes, please do so. Okay, so here's a question that came in, and I know I'm right on time here, so if you have to jump off, I understand, but I thought I'd go through some of these questions. Someone asked, how can I stay aware of new editions throughout the year? So there are a lot of ways. If you are an R2 Digital Library user, you can opt in for emails about new editions, and those will automatically come to your into your inbox, and you will know if something you've purchased, something you have on PDA is now available in a new edition. We also have a weekly email that goes out that lets you know everything that's been added to the R2 Digital Library platform in the last week. So we're constantly adding new content, and that email will hit your inbox when you get to work on Tuesday morning there. We also have a new and noteworthy newsletter, e-newsletter that goes out, and that features print titles. So if you're interested in the print, sign up for our new and noteworthy e-newsletter. You can do that on Rittenhouse.com. You could also sign up online. You could set up a profile, and we have an online book notification. It's kind of like an approval plan, used to be, but nothing shifts. You can go in and look at all new editions that are available, and we do let you know if they're available for print or on R2 right there within the online approval plan. So you can set up a profile and go in and view your selections at the frequency at which you would, at the frequency you desire. So there are a lot of new ways, but I highly recommend the automated emails and signing up for those in your profile, and your Rittenhouse representative or myself are available to help with that. Okay. Oh, yeah, the YouTube URL. Sure, let me get back to that. I should know it right off the top of my head, but I don't. Let me get back to it. And while I'm getting back to that, someone asked, do you have to purchase titles when you set up a PDA collection? No, you can set up a PDA only collection and then purchase as you have triggers and as product is used. As those ebooks get used, you can buy them. So you don't need to have a, trying to get out of here. Here we go. You don't need to have a purchase to get started. Okay, so there's our YouTube, youtube.com/user/RittenhouseBooks. And as I mentioned earlier, everything I presented is in a collection called Spring Content Update on the R2 Digital Library. Okay, I think that's it for today. We're just over time, so I thank you very much for joining us. And please don't hesitate to get that PDA collection or take advantage of our flash sale. Have a great afternoon.